Um, we've been wondering months ago when we seen Weinstein say some things, and we seen a certain particular officer pop up. I'll pin the video in the comments. Y'all love that one to revisit memory lane. And yeah, we gonna root for Paige Reese Whitaker on this one because there's a couple of things that happen and a couple of things we got to get in touch with. Let's go. February 21st, 2025, motions hearing. Judicial Officer Whitaker, Paige Reese, hearing time, 9 a.m. Let's give you all a little backdrop as to what you missing.
July find the thief.
That at the time.
The home of Jeffrey Williams.
And where in the home are you?
Should be the master bedroom closet leading to the bathroom.
And in the video that you watched, which I'm not publishing, again, because it has your image on it.
Correct.
What are you doing at that point in the video?
We're inventorying the jewelry and items that are in the home.
Okay. And is this image that is taken that's part of your inventorying procedure in the home? Is that correct?
It's a documentation procedure, yes.
Okay. And do you recognize what you're holding in your hand in this still image?
I do.
And what are you holding in your hand?
A watch of some sort.
Okay. Do you know if you recognize that as a Richard Mille watch?
I guess, yes.
And that's a pink watch, correct?
It's pink and either pink and light pink or pink and white, yes.
It's a pink band, correct?
Correct.
And it has a white ceramic, I'll call it the body of the watch.
White, or, yeah, I guess it's white if you say so, yes.
Okay. After you took this image and you did this inventorying process, where did the watch go after this?
If you watch the video in its entirety, we're inventorying everything in the closet. There's a bunch of small boxes everywhere. So if you watch the video in its entirety, you take it and the watch is photographed like this, box is closed, it's taken and put up on the shelf in the upper left-hand corner, and the inventorying continues. And then jewelry starts getting packed up and getting ready for the evidence team to come and take it down to property.
Okay. Since November the 4th of this year, have you spoken to the state about this particular watch, the pink watch with the white band that I've been calling the Richard Mille or Richard Mille watch?
To the state, no, but I've seen the, like, Twitter coverage of it going missing or whatever you want to.
Maybe.
Well, no, I mean, there's a camera in here. They know that it's being live streamed. You just are not supposed to be watching it.
Oh.
And you asked that in the evidence, so
Well,
just keep moving.
I wasn't watching the trial, but my name.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just keep moving.
Okay.
Unless you need to approach about something else.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me, and I'd like to know about this. Tell me in the whatever coverage you saw, what did you learn about this watch that came up in this trial?
Sustained, well, yeah, sustained.
Okay. So after this watch was inventoried and you left it for, I'm sorry, who did you say takes the watch after the inventorying process?
Okay. So if you watch the video in its entirety.
Which I can't show here, but
Right.
go ahead.
But if you watched it, like I watched it, the watch gets boxed back up and placed up on the shelf, and it gets left there by the team as as an accident. It was left there. The home was then turned over to Mr. Williams Sr. and Mr. Garfield Lamond to take possession of the home.
And is it the normal process when you're taking jewelry from the home or high valued goods that you leave behind a $500,000 watch on a shelf?
First, I don't know the value of it. Second of all, like I said, there were numerous jewelry boxes. It was, if you watch the video, everybody in there had on body cameras. I was made sure I was on camera at all times. There's cameras throughout the home. So you would be able to see if one of us removed a watch, the box remained in the closet. And like I said, the home was turned over to Mr. Williams Sr. and Mr. Garfield Lamond, who were the two people on scene that took custody of the home for Mr. Williams.
Okay, can we go back to my question?
Sure.
Sure. Is it the normal procedure to leave high-valued items behind when you're doing a search and then a seizure pursuant to a warrant?
Objection, Your Honor, relevant and
It wasn't answered, Your Honor.
overruled.
I don't know if there's necessarily a procedure on what you take or what you don't. Like I said, it got left behind. There were other things, like other items of evidence that I had asked to be taken, such as photographs and artwork that had relevance to this case that were left behind by the evidence team. It was quite a big operation. There was a hostile crowd gathering at the bottom of the driveway, so we were trying.
Hendrick.
Can you turn the other way so you can kind of be facing the jury so they can make sure they hear you talking?
First time I saw him was somewhere over here, I believe.
Okay, thank you. Did you see Mr. Kendrick exit the house?
No,
Okay,
no.
okay. And you can be seated.
Nigga, did you know that I can see you?
Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
I want to show you this a moment. Take a look at that and tell me if that's something that you're generally familiar with.
Yes.
I don't have a moving microphone.
I'm sure there's one you can borrow somewhere.
Thank you. You know, I'll just leave this with you for now, and then I'll ask you some questions. So this is a report you're familiar with, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This property, can you read at the top what it says for case number?
Case number is 221291090.
Would you look at the detailed inventory of go past the vehicles to the detailed inventory of the individual items that were seized from the home? This is from Jeffrey Williams' home, correct?
Correct.
And what page are you on now? You're on page
5.
Page 5. And that is a list of vehicles and property that was seized, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you didn't complete this particular form, correct?
No, the evidence property form, no, I did not.
And are you familiar with the procedure of how you itemize lists on a property form? Like what level of detail do you normally go into when you're itemizing items that are seized during a search and seizure warrant?
Well, you generally like to list if it's an item that has a.
And we'll take a little trip down Viverito Lane in just a moment because her testimony should have been struck, but thank God it wasn't. But one of the biggest videos, if not the biggest video, on the trial that I did, over 300,000 and counting, be pinned in the comments, was a video where we did deep dive and exploration into this missing Richard Milley watch, and it seemed as though an officer walked on right in, got the flash, and like he had a flashlight in his head, or he was doing the thing that Donald Trump be doing. I don't know what this is. One can speculate, but check this out right here.
DK11B.
I believe this same picture, just it shows more of the jewelry and watches.
DK11C, please, Mr. Kokomo.
More jewelry. It looks like there's some rings.
And DK11D, what are we looking at there?
There's a sunglass case, a ring case, more jewelry.
Okay. And would you agree that this property likely, just upon looking at it, has significant value?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And would this be something, when you were doing an itemized evidence report, that you would list piece by piece into that report?
Piece by piece, it depends. With so much jewelry, that might be categorized all together with just jewelry.
If you just categorize it together as just jewelry, what are the procedures in place to make sure that all of this jewelry is properly tracked and doesn't walk off at some point?
Well, you would place it in an evidence bag, create a property tag for it, and secure the evidence and turn it into property.
Okay. Do you know if that was done in this case?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Not lying, I'm telling you what's on the video.
And after you guys put the car in park, what else did you do?
I remember I was trying to look for like shell casings. I don't know if I seen any. It was just standing by for additional units to come. I was also informed to block off a side of a road so no cars can pass through. As I stood by and waited for homicide, because I was first on scene, so homicide wanted to speak with me. And then I soon after it got replaced by a morning watch unit.
Did you prepare any reports this week?
No, I didn't do any reports. No.
Hey, yo, you. Can you subscribe and turn on that bell too? Because when you do, you're helping unbiased, independent news.
This evidence, I'm hearing Mr. Weinstein out, but my silence should not be viewed as acquiescence that I believe this should be admitted. I need to hear what Mr. Weinstein's saying because I may have an objection myself.
What I'm saying is that if there is a relationship between Ms. Bumpus and the defendant, then Investigator Viverito's bias against that.
Being called a bad name?
No. If she is in an altercation with someone that's in a relationship with the defendant, I think, and especially if it is a threat, because
How is that a threat?
that's the last time you're going to call me a hoe. I mean, I've had clients arrested for less.
You may ask.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, I'm not finished with my sentence. You may ask if she is following the case and has been following the case in any kind of manner. But it's really only relevant if she listened to the testimony of a witness. So you could ask that. But if she's just looking at, and I don't even know if she was looking at, maybe somebody told her. So why don't we get her in here and find all of that out outside the presence of the jury before we go into something that ends up being a bunch of nothing?
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up when the jury wasn't here, Your Honor.
So can we also bring up before we go into the side searches, the fact that Ms. Bumpus represented Mr. Copeland, about to open up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think saying who this is before we find out anything, I mean, do we know whether, we don't even know whether she's actually married to him or if she was married to him at the time or if Ms. Viverito knows that, or if it was because of any kind of bias against Mr. Stillwell, or just that she doesn't like being called that name.
Well, and no one would, Your Honor, obviously. But if she is in an altercation with someone in a relationship.
What do you mean by altercation?
A verbal altercation.
Okay. I mean,
You know,
a verbal, that's the last time you're going to call me that?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's the last time you're going to call me that? That's not exactly an altercation. Is that
Okay.
is that all you've got?
That's all I have.
Okay. That's it. I think that this is 403 material.
There we go. One for the stick.
Hoisted on my own petard, Your Honor.
Correct. All right. Let's get the witness back in and the jury back in.
Yeah, I have a motion to strike the testimony of Investigator Viverito as well as any evidence that came under her. And the reason I make this motion, Your Honor, is yesterday it came up that she had not been, that she had been following the case. The court asked me to not pursue that. I'm not.
Come up that she had been following the case. It came up that she knew that somebody had mentioned her on Twitter.
Okay, and your opinion would have been different if she was following the case? Because,
No, if you know that she was following the case, that doesn't exclude her as a witness. You can let the jury know that.
okay, because
You can ask her that.
I can ask her about her following the case?
Sure, and we'll see what she says.
Okay.
And if that's so, then it still doesn't exclude her testimony. It just lets the jury know, well, she may know some of this other stuff from listening to some other witness.
Okay, because what I would like to get into, and we may as well bring it up now before the jury is here, is that she got into an altercation out in the hallway with Kayla Bumpus.
Why is that relevant to the guilt or innocence of
I'm
these
about
men?
to go there, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just let me finish a second. She got into it because she was watching Kayla Bumpus's YouTube feed about this case, and Kayla Bumpus apparently called her.
Okay, you may get into whether she has been tracking this case.
Mm-hmm.
You may not get into whether she got into a dispute with somebody about their posts.
It gets into her bias against these defendants, Your Honor. It goes directly to it.
What are you proposing to ask?
I'm proposing to ask if she told Kayla Bumpus in the hallway that that was the last time she was going to call her a hoe. It goes direct.
I'm sorry, the last time who was going
That
to call?
Kayla, sorry for the pronouns, that Kayla Bumpus was going to call Investigator Viverito
Do we need to
a
get
hoe.
into who it was or just that somebody?
I think we need to get into who it
Why?
was.
Why?
Because she's married to Mr. Jackson.
Well, was she at the time? Is this for real, y'all?
Yeah. Well,
None of this is relevant. Whatever is happening between Ms. Bumpus, Mr. Jackson, has nothing to do with the guilt or innocence.
Unfortunately, the bias of a witness, well, fortunately, or I'd strike that. It is not fortunate or unfortunate, except for the fact that it is dragging this case on even longer. But a witness's bias towards a party may always be shown.
if she is in a dispute, if she's
Don't
in,
talk at the same time.
Caleb Bumpus is not a party to this incident. Caleb.
Yes, but if she's married to one of the parties, then that might qualify.
If I just maybe concur, I don't know.
Now, what I want to make sure I get you guys acquainted with is Young Thug's charges that he accepted. Not the ones that he was charged with, but the ones that he accepted. Check it out. So there's a bunch of stuff that we could read, but we're not. It's already kind of a long video. I don't want to make it longer than 20 minutes. So here you go on what he pled guilty to. Unlawful for person employed association with criminal street gang to conduct participating criminal activity, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of firearm or knife during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies. That is not the same thing that Gunner did, by the way, because I'm really annoyed at times when Vlad to get somebody like DK who signed the very first plea deal against Lil Jeff. And literally, Vlad, bruh, hey, he said he was going to wear a wire. And I hope y'all fools remember that part, but it is what it is. Anyways, where he did not go with the part that you cats are talking about. He didn't go with the RICO. So he no contendrate on that, and unlawful for a person who occupied a criminal street gang position of organizer, supervisory, management. So those two things are literally something he didn't plead guilty to. That is very important for people to understand. He basically said, no, I'm not the shot caller. And literally, no, I did not violate the RICO Act. So it's going to be an interesting fight for the state because the state, you know what? Let's just get more into it. So you're probably wondering what a hearing is. So let me just make sure I say it the right way. A hearing in court is a formal proceeding where a judge listens to arguments and evidence presented by both sides of the case to make a decision on a specific legal issue, usually before a full trial takes place. It's essentially a smaller court session focused on a particular matter where lawyers present information and witnesses may testify to help the judge reach a conclusion. Key points about court hearings. Purpose: to resolve a specific question or issue related to a case, like deciding a motion or determining if there's enough evidence to proceed to trial. Structure: lawyers present arguments, may call witnesses to testify, and the judge asks questions to clarify information. There you go. So, they're holding millions of dollars of Young Thug's property and money. There's certain stuff that I know, but I can't put it out there, so I'll let it be revealed. I'll just say this, vroom, and I'll leave it at that. I would like to say more, but I know that people would be upset with me if I did. Probably upset me that I said that, but sometimes you got to let people know I know something without saying nothing. Anyways, so we're going back to court. Unless the state just 100% says, no, we're not giving back nothing. Or they say, hey, we ain't got everything in this list and stuff like that. And I believe the prosecution is going to try to say, well, we left it there, so go talk to Young Thug's daddy or the homie that was there or people that ran up in his house. They're going to try to paint Young Thug's family as the perpetrators of the missing watch to probably say, and this is what they kind of alluded to anyways, we left the watch there. So what happened to the watch afterwards ain't got nothing to do with us. That's what they're going to try to do. But obviously, the family and young Jeffrey will say, nah. Now, will Thug show up in court? I hope to God not. He'll need to be there. But if he does, he does. That'd be interesting to see him back in court, but he'll be leaving this time. I don't think Young Thug wants to be anywhere near that courtroom, but he may. Shoot, he may even testify, you know. I had this, I had that, I had this, I had that, and all this stuff. But I don't know, bro, because when they snatch him, they don't have him looking over everything and then sign that he took it. You know? That's on the freaking state. It would be cool if they did do that and then got him basically looking at it, showing him and all that stuff. That would be better for everybody involved to show all the stuff that they have just for him to sign off to say this is what they have and that he's seen it in there. The only problem with that is then you have to create a system that shows that it was stored as well. That part right there could get real tedious, should we say. So, end of the day, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where you wish they would just get his stuff back. But we so nosy. We want to know how much money, how much jewelry, how much all of that, the cars and all that stuff. We want to see it all. And we do want to know if Miss Love was sitting around riding through freaking Atlanta with a hot pink, nice sports car with Seti Nash in the passenger side. I'm joking. No, I have not. I'm just joking, Miss Love. You know, I'm kidding with you. This is just a joke. This is just satire. I have never met you. I have never talked to you before. I've never seen you in any capacity outside of court, only inside of court. There's something in my eye. I'm messing with y'all. There's something in my eye. There's really something in my eye. But anyways, I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. Golly, I can't show up to court now. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just joking. So yeah, bro. Nah. We gonna see. It's good that it's happening sooner rather than later, and unfortunately, this is the power of money. So if it wasn't Young Thug and it wasn't Brian Steele and Adams and everybody, these powerful attorneys, bro, man, they would have kicked this down the road by a couple of years to the point where you dang near are going to be starving to sign a deal or sign anything, because I think what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to say, well, even though he no-low contendere on a couple of stuff, we still got this right here. And this would be a huge W for the state. It don't matter if it's a penny. Well, that's a lie. If they can get some money for this, bro, I'll tell you right now, they can get $500,000, $50,000 and stuff like that. Fonnie Willis is going to hold a press conference and she is going to sit there and gloat about how she was able to get money for victims affected by these YSL cats and all this crap. And I ain't gonna hold you. We ain't gonna care, but the beneficiaries will. So y'all be aware of that. The state is going to fight tooth and nail. I don't see how the state just allows all the money to go back to him. I just don't. Nathan Wade, he got needs, and Fonnie Willis got to take care of her, man. Allegedly. But anyways, subscribe to the bell to notify and share to keep your people aware.